I was on Facebook the other day and I was going through a group called Life Insurance Canada, which is essentially a group of life insurance brokers. I know, really exciting stuff, that all get together in this one group and they chat and we post memes and we post photos and yada, yada, yada. And one of the advisors posted a photo and it said the top 10 reasons why you need life insurance. And one of those reasons, I mean, some of them were, pretty straightforward. You have dependents, you have children, you have aging parents, maybe you have a spouse, you have financial responsibility. But one of them said, you are single. And I commented on it and I said, no, if you're single, why would you need life insurance? If you follow my channel for any amount of time, you'll know that I'm kind of the anti-life insurance agent here. I say more often than not, maybe you don't need life insurance and it's better to save your money. And so we got into an argument on Facebook, me and this other guy and a few other life insurance agents. Obviously, I'm going into the lion's den here, trying to tell life insurance agents that they shouldn't be selling this. So everyone was kind of against me. However, it did get me thinking because on the post, it said life insurance needs. And then I thought to myself, this really isn't a need for life insurance. However, it could be a want for life insurance. And so in this video, we're going to break down, in my opinion, where people need life insurance and where people might just want life insurance. What is up, guys? For those of you new to the channel, my name is Philip Setter. I'm the founder and CEO of Affinity Life, where we've helped hundreds of Canadians find the right life insurance coverage at the right price, all from the comfort of their own home. If that sounds interesting, I'll put a link in the description below and you can check it out. But without further ado, let's get right into this video. Okay, so here's the thing, and this is what got me thinking about it, okay? So yes, we are life insurance salesmen and we're selling life insurance, which is just a product. However, at the end of the day, I think life insurance is a component for the rest of your financial matters and your financial well-being. It should be part of your financial planning. And so in my opinion, it's not like we're selling ice cream or we're selling clothing or we're selling TV where it's like, hey, yeah, why don't I upsell you on, this extra product or this extra thing or, this feature on the BMW or this feature on the Escalade or the car, whatever it is, right? We're selling a product that is a fit within the financial planning of the client. And so with that being said, I believe that we have a fiduciary responsibility to the client to only recommend products when they are needed and then still consider the overall financial planning of the client. However, I don't think that happens with most insurance salesmen and insurance brokers because obviously, they're trying to make money and their one product is what they sell. So, when everything looks like a nail and you're a hammer, it's gonna get hammered. So, at the end of the day, I don't believe that life insurance is always needed. I think there's many situations when it could just be wanted. Now, let's first talk about what I think about the purpose of life insurance is, and then you can kind of see where I get this need versus want theory from. So in my opinion, the purpose of life insurance is to protect your loved ones in the event that you were to pass away. And a really good way to ask yourself a question if you need life insurance is, if you passed away, would there be loved ones within your life that would be financially impacted once you passed away? And if you can answer yes to that question, you probably need life insurance. If you answer no to that question, you probably don't need life insurance. But like I mentioned, we're going to get into need versus want. And that kind of gets into another realm, which is term life insurance versus permanent life insurance. Now, term life insurance, I think, is the best option for the majority of Canadians. It's relatively inexpensive. You can get it to cover yourself for a specific period of time, 10, 20 years, 30 years, when you need it the most, when your family is growing up and you have a mortgage, you have car payments, and you have all these other things that if you were to pass away, your loved ones would be very financially impacted. I think that's a need. However, when we get into permanent life insurance, I think that permanent life insurance starts to really come into this realm of want. It's a nice to have. It's not necessary, but it's a nice thing that could have, or that you could have, pardon me, if you passed away at 50, 60, 70, or 80 and you left your loved ones money, but it's definitely not a need in my opinion by any means. So let's just start getting into it. We're going to start with when I believe you absolutely need life insurance. So need number one, you and your partner share financial responsibilities. So you're married, or maybe you're common law, or maybe you're just dating, whatever it is, you share financial responsibilities. So maybe you own a house together, maybe you own a car together, maybe you guys rent a house together, maybe you share some education payments together, whatever it is, there's some financial responsibilities that you both are taking care of together. And if one of you were to pass away, the other one would be like, hey, I don't have enough money to pay for this. I need some help with this. This is a pretty clear need. It's a good idea to probably get some life insurance at this point. Number 2, and I think this is the absolute biggest need of them all, you have children. This is one of the most important reasons to get life insurance. If you have children and you were to pass away, that is a huge, not only emotional, mental, physical, but financial responsibility that you're now leaving to one individual. And it's going to be very difficult if there's no extra funds, there's no life insurance, there's nothing in place to help them, maybe hire some other services, help with the bills, hire other people that can help them around the house, whatever it is, there's going to be a massive hole. I mean, not only, of course, physically, emotionally, mentally, all the other things, but financially as well, because if you're the breadwinner or you're both breadwinners within this partnership and you have children and you pass away, that income is no longer there. That is gone. And so trying to raise children without your partner and without any of the financial help as well is going to be incredibly difficult. This is one of the most important reasons I think you need to get life insurance. If you have children, this is a need. Number 3, your aging parents financially rely upon you. So maybe you had the opportunity to go to a really good school, get a really good high-paying job, whatever it is, maybe you started a business, and you are much more financially well off than your parents, and your parents are, like I said, financially relying upon you. So maybe they're getting a little bit older, maybe their retirement benefits aren't as large as they should be, and they don't have enough to get by. And so, hey, for whatever reason, they're relying upon you to help them during the retirement, and that's a really good thing. So here's the thing, you might not have a partner, you might not have children. However, if your aging parents are relying upon you, and I have clients that are actually in this situation where if they were to pass away, the aging parents wouldn't have enough money or enough help to get them through retirement. And so getting some life insurance to cover this off, maybe a couple $100,000, $500,000, whatever it is that's needed. So if you were to pass away, your parents would be okay because you're kind of the main breadwinner in this family arrangement, then I think that's a really good thing. And I definitely think that's a need. And the last one that we're going to talk about in the need category is you have a disabled child that will forever be financially dependent upon you. And this is where actually permanent life insurance comes into place. The rest of the needs there that I listed, term life insurance is probably going to be the best option. Maybe for your aging parents, permanent life insurance could be in the conversation. However, for a disabled child, they're always going to be financially dependent on you. You're always going to have to make sure if you pass away, there's funds in place to help them get through, to help them with housing and accommodations and food and shelter and all these other things that they need. Permanent life insurance is a really good option to cover that off because they're going to need that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 30 years from now, and 50 years from now. So I think that's a super high need up on the priority list, and permanent life insurance is a good option to cover that off. Now let's get into the wants. So this is where I think we start to bridge the gap between need and want. So this is, in my opinion, mandatory. Over here, this is a nice to have. If you have it, awesome, great, no problem. There's nothing wrong with it. However, just understand that it's a nice to have, and there's other things that may be a priority before you start to look at this type of want life insurance, okay? So the first want that we're gonna look at is permanent life insurance for any type of estate planning. And so you'll hear this quite a bit from insurance brokers, and they're not wrong. Life insurance is a fantastic tool used for estate planning, specifically permanent life insurance. You can decrease your taxes upon death. You can convert some of your investments that you have, during retirement into a permanent life insurance policy and decreases the tax when you pass those on to the next generation. It can be a very efficient way to transfer assets to the next generation. You then have liquid cash upon death, and your estate then has cash that they can use. So maybe they don't have to sell the house. Maybe they can instead just use the life insurance to pay the taxes, whatever it is, okay? There's so many ways that you can use it. However, at the end of the day, this is a nice to have. This is not a need. This is a want, because once you pass away, you're gone, right? And if you have assets already, you have investments and you have a house and you have all these other things, yes, it might not be 100% efficient, and your estate might receive less than if they were to get, or you were to get, life insurance and put it into a permanent life insurance policy. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, they're still going to get something. You still had investments or RRSPs or non-registered accounts or a TFSA, or you had a LIRA, or you had a house, or you had a vacation property, whatever it is, whatever your estate is comprised of, you still had things, they're still going to get an inheritance. Is it going to be max efficiency, minimum taxes inheritance? Probably not. However, at the end of the day, that's really a want. That's not a need. That's not something that you should be thinking about in your 20s, 30s, or 40s, or even really 50s. Maybe late 50s, early 60s, you can start to think about it. Maybe early 50s as well. But just understand all of those other things should be considered before you start to look at this want. The needs need to be taken care of, as well as all the other aspects of you and your financial plan. Here's the thing. The need category, absolutely, get life insurance. The want category, you still need to now think about yourself. Are you going to be okay during retirement? Are you going to live the life that you want to live? Are you going to enjoy everything that you've built over the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years? This is not, yes, of course we want to provide for our children and our grandchildren. However, we also want to provide for us. We also want to make sure that we're comfortable during retirement. We worked our entire lives to build what we have. And yes, of course, we want it to be efficient. But at the end of the day, we also want to make sure that we're getting what we want out of the life that we built. So in my opinion, permanent life insurance for estate planning, while very beneficial, is in the want category. Which leads me to number 2, which is the controversy, I suppose, of this Facebook post. You're single. So here's the thing. I mean, you're single can have so many different variables that go along with it. Because I mean, you could be single with a financial well-being or with financial assets, pardon me, or you could be single without it. You could be single with debt. You could be single without debt. There's so many different variables here, okay? You could be single and old. You could be single and young. I mean, there's so many different things, obviously, to consider. However, at the end of the day, if you're single, you don't have any dependents, maybe you have debt, maybe you don't. The argument that we had on Facebook and the argument that the other insurance brokers were saying, pardon me, is that, hey, listen, everyone needs $50,000 of life insurance. Minimum. Everyone needs $50,000 because what if you pass away and someone has to take care of your estate? There should be some money for them to take care of it. Or what if you pass away and, maybe you had a house and now there's some closing fees or whatever it is? Or what if your friends and family want to plan a funeral for you? What if they want to, there's a burial cost, and what if they want to plan something? There should be some funds there at the end of the day to take care of that. And there's been several conversations that I had. I'll share some anecdotal evidence. So number 1, this guy called me up, and this was maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and he left me a voicemail. He said, "Hi, Philip." I think his name was Dan. He says, "My name's Dan. I'm looking for a good life insurance company." And I called him back and I said, "Dan, I'm sorry to say that's an oxymoron. There's no good life insurance companies." He laughed. And anyways, he was in his late 50s and he said, "I would like to get some type of permanent life insurance option in place." And I said, "Okay, great. For what would you like it for? For what?" And he said, "Well, just if anyone, buries me, I want them to be some money there." And I said, "Okay, oh, great. Are you married then?" He says, "No, I'm not married." I said, "Okay, you have kids?" "No, I have no kids." "You have a common law partner or anything?" No, it's just me." I said, who's going to get the money?" He said, "I don't know, just someone." I said, "Who?" I said, "It's just someone. Someone will bury me." And I said, "Listen, it's going to be expensive. You're a smoker. You're getting old now. Maybe you should focus that money onto just something that you want instead of something that an unnamed person might get. It might be beneficial for someone sometime, but you're dead at that point. And I mean, at the end of the day, there's still provisions in place to have it taken care of free. People still die all the time, and there's not people to, pay for a big funeral. So what happens then? And I'll give you another anecdotal story. My father just passed away, unfortunately. He was a little bit estranged from the family, so no one was really connected with him anymore. At the end of the day, the province cremated him for free. It was $0. We had a small gathering. No one really paid for anything. It was $0 for the cremation. We got everything. The estate was taken care of. We didn't need any money. There's no need for you to have life insurance. That is an incredible want. It's not something that's needed. Like, who are you going to give it to just so this estate can have this money, so someone that you may or may not know can have something to do something with and help with arrangements and maybe get a casket? It's not needed at the end of the day. So if you're single, no dependents, young, no debt, and sure, if you want to get some money for some unnamed person or maybe a family member such as a father or mother or brother or sister, so they have some extra funds so they can get some cake and have a little reunion and get together for a funeral, sure. But this is definitely not a need. This is a want. Which leads me to number 3, life insurance as an investment. This one is pretty clear cut, very quick. I'll go through it. If you follow my channel again for any amount of time, you'll know that I think investing quote unquote in life insurance to use it during retirement is probably a bad idea for the vast majority of Canadians. There's much more true and tried, easy, simple strategies like RRSP, TFSA that you should take advantage of before you ever consider this strategy. There's so many things that can go wrong. Yes, there's a lot of things that can go right, but it's very complicated and there's a lot of things that you need to consider. So I think for the vast majority of people, focus on those other things first. And then if you are a high income earner and you start to max out those other accounts and you want to look at an alternative investment, sure, absolutely. So at the end of the day, if you want to quote unquote invest in life insurance, this is absolutely not a need. This is just a nice to have. And there's several other things that you should utilize before you do this. Which leads me to the last one, which is life insurance on your child or your baby. And now there's different ways that you can structure this. Obviously, you could get term life insurance, although that's not very common. The most common thing that people, advisors, try and petition is permanent life insurance on your child. Because they say, well, what if something happens? You know, you'll want some life insurance. Plus, you can then gift it to them once they're 18 and they can use it, quote unquote, to buy their first house or buy a property or, you know, education, go to college, etc., etc. I put this in the same category that I put any other invest in life insurance strategy. Yes, it could be a good to have. However, there's so many other things that you should utilize, like the RESP is a fantastic program that the government puts grants back into. They put money into it absolutely free of charge. And that's just, you know, above and beyond life insurance. You put it in and that's it, all you get. This, you put it in and then the government puts more in. So I think that's way more beneficial, pardon me, for education. And then again, just all your other personal finances first. And yes, it'd be nice, you know, if your child did unfortunately pass away, to get a lump sum so you could take care of some things while you're recovering. However, at the end of the day, I think it's much more beneficial for you to get your own finances in order, your own emergency fund, your own investments. So if anything happens, your child passes away or anything else, your father, your mother, your sister, your brother, then you can take time off. This is just a nice to have. It's not a need, it's a want. So in conclusion, if you fall into the need category, I think you absolutely should get life insurance, get something in place. This is absolutely, in my opinion, required as part of your overall financial plan. However, if you fall into the want category, at that point, it's up to you to personally decide. There's so many other things that you should start to consider as well, such as your own retirement, your emergency fund, having money in a savings account. So if you lose your job or someone passes away, you can actually take time to recover, your own investments and all these other things, and vehicle funds and houses and vacations, and, you know, maybe just taking care of yourself and you going to a spa or something like that. There's so many other things here that I think are a priority. However, at the end of the day, in the want category, I think it's up for you to personally decide if this is something that is valuable to you and that is high up and important on your list or not. And if it is, sure, get it. If it's not, don't let any broker try and convince you that you need it, because you don't. That's the want category. The need one is over here. So with all that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys have any questions, drop them below. And if you guys are enjoying this content, all I ask is to give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one.